Smarterfan. Smarterfan. Yeah. Smarterfan.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another segment of Smarterfan Podcast, where we bring you behind the veil of sports, business, and life. I'm Joe, and this is Barry. How you doing, Barry?
It's a little nippy out there, hot and cold, but no snow. But now I hear
Hmm.
snow's coming. But I feel good. But I was sad. But I'm back feeling good because Mahomes is my homeboy. So I got a lot to say tonight. I got a lot to say. I got a lot to talk about tonight, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Okay, you too. All right, well, I want to talk about a hockey icon. Okay, his name is Gordie Howe. Now,
Mm.
he started with the Red Wings in 1946, and with the straight blade sticks they used back then, he could shoot lefty or righty. So he was
Wow.
a dominant player for his time, and a prolific scorer. And he led the Red Wings to 4 Stanley Cups in the 50s. The first of which started in 1950, and he was badly injured, and he fractured his skull, broke his
Mm.
nose, and broke his cheekbone. So, and that was in the playoffs. So he was out of commission. But his two line mates, Sid Abel and Ted Lindsay, they stepped up, and they brought the cup home. They were prolific scorers also, But and how he was a bit of a fighter, but
Mm-hmm.
Ted Lindsay, he was the enforcer on the team, and they called him Terrible Ted, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I digress. Anyway, so in '69, he was like the Tom Brady before Tom Brady, because he scored 44 goals and he had 59 assists, all at the age of 40. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
you know,
I think
but
he played until he was about 50, right?
yeah, 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 he played until he was 52. So, what happened was in '71, he had a chronic wrist injury, and that forced him to retire the first time. So,
Mm.
he worked in the Red Wings front office. And then, in '72, when the Islanders came into the league, he was offered the head coaching job, but he turned it down. So then a year later, he had wrist surgery, and that's when he made his comeback. And he came back with the Houston Aeros of the World Hockey Association. And he played with his two sons, Mark and Marty, there.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
he's living proof that you don't mess with old timers, because in a game, a player started with one of his sons. They dropped the gloves and they were going to go at it, and Pop stepped in, dropped the gloves, and beat the hell out of the guy. So the lesson there was you don't mess with old timers and you don't mess with their kids. So,
Understood.
but anyway,
Understood.
yeah. So anyway, he played with the Arrows until '77, and then he went to play for the New England Whalers, and he played with them. And in '79, he played on the last All-Star game for the WHA, and his line mate was this young man by the name of Wayne Gretzky. So
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So you had your classic passing of the torch. So, and then he retired in '80 for the last time. And
Mm-hmm.
he played for the Red Wings for 25 years. He was a 23-time All-Star, 6-time MVP, scored 801 goals. And he played in 5 different decades. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, he retired at 52, and uh sadly he died in 2016 at the age of 88. And
Mm,
they brought his casket to the Joe Louis Arena for public visitation, and to pay homage to his number 9. The visitation time was from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So,
nice.
and he's
Nice.
he's third on the list of the 100 greatest players in the NHL, behind Wayne Gretzky and Bobby Orr. And both of them said he was the greatest they ever saw. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so he was just a great player. So,
Absolutely. Well, I know. I mean, I really grew up loving hockey, wanting to play hockey, but just never
mhm.
could get the skate thing right. I just couldn't.
Mm.
I just
They
love. I was just fascinated with the ability to move on ice like that, and I
Oh yeah,
wanted to master it. And
yeah.
the creator has a funny sense of humor. My college football roommate was a big hockey guy. So I would
Mhm.
say, look at him and go, how does your fat butt, you're an offensive guard, can ice skate like this? And I can't. I'm a ballerina on the football field as a defensive end, spinning, tucking, diving, doing all this stuff. You can't do. But put your fat butt on some skates. You're the ballerina, and I'm the cow on the ice. I don't get it. Oh, he used to crack up. Oh, he would
Yeah.
crack up. He's just like, oh, that's the justice of the universe. That's just
Hey,
the justice of the universe.
it be
I
like
mean, it
that
got so
sometimes.
bad with me. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? It got so bad, so bad at a point that I actually was going to pay almost like $300 for these hockey skates because I had convinced myself, I think if I buy
Mm.
hockey skates, I'll
Mm.
be able to figure it out.
Well, they
I'll be
do
able
give
to
you
figure.
better ankle support.
Yeah. Don't try to encourage me. Don't try to encourage me. Don't
I'm
try to
just stating the
encourage me.
facts.
You see Smarterfan family, what I have to contend with. You see what I have to contend with. Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, so much going on in the world of sports.
Mhm.
Is it my turn or what we doing?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Go
Oh,
ahead.
well, I got to talk about. I'm sad because people say, "Why were you sad?" I'm sad because I really wanted Lamar and the
Mm.
Ravens to take the next step. And
Mm.
I'm just Smarter Fan family. I've been getting bombarded, and I've come to a conclusion. Interesting, a day before, because I'm sure a lot of people have been questioning online. Why wasn't there an adjustment in the play calling by the coach, which is what you and
Mm.
I had talked about 3 days prior. Why would
Mhm.
you just set up an offensive scheme that he's just back there being a pocket passer? It
Right.
just makes the defenses easier. I mean,
Yeah.
and I keep going back to, I know people are tired of hearing it, and I'm telling you folks, there is such a thing as lazy, stupid, and
Mm.
selfish coaching. I'll give you stupid first.
Mhm.
Remember the Seattle Seahawks and that stupid
Yes.
call when you've
Yes.
got the most prolific running back in the league 3 years running.
Mhm.
You're within the five. You don't give him one shot at
Mm. Yeah.
the end zone.
And they
That's
hadn't stopped
called
him all day.
no. That's called stupid coaching.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's selfish coaching because you're trying to do something above your players, right? To really
Mm.
kind of say, I'm 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 that guy. I'm the guy. They're out there, but I'm the guy. And all players who played know that's that kind of call.
Mm-hmm.
And it really sends, and it continues to send, and it will continue to for the rest of the NFL. When people think back on it, it's going to smell like stinky fish because it
Mm-hmm.
was a selfish, stupid move. You
Mm.
had 3 tries, you didn't give, I didn't, and then the play that you call a dive, a slant pattern. You got limited space. Why wouldn't you
Exactly.
call a post route to the corner? Why would you run into the teeth of the defense and not to the corner where the receiver's one on one and there's an advantage for him?
Yeah. How,
Selfish
how about
coaching.
how about a fake to Lynch and a bootleg to the left?
With
I
with
mean,
one of the with one of the you're right, with one of the most prolific, but I've never seen a quarterback run a better bootleg sneak than Russell
yeah,
Wilson. I
yeah.
mean, he can put that ball on his hip
Mm-hmm.
like nobody else. And
Yeah.
I just looked at that and I said, that's what's really frustrating about that loss. Not that you lose. You always hate to lose, but it's the way
Mm.
you lost. You know?
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
that's what has fans and players, when they think about it, so frustrated. It's kind of like we lost not because they were better, but because we were the coaching was selfish and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard. That you almost never get over. You know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
wasn't a man beat me or they just outsmarted me or any of that, or it just wasn't my day.
They
You know, you
outsmarted
can,
themselves.
yeah, you know what I mean? And anyway, so, after I went through that, and I just, people were like, well, Lamar's not that. No, Lamar's earned his money. He's more than earned the money. As a matter of fact, in my humble
Mm.
opinion, they owe him another 200 million. Um,
Yeah.
and I said, mm, I said, let's keep things in perspective. Lamar ain't didn't is not losing to a bum. Let's get that straight.
Mm-hmm.
He's not losing to a bum. Okay, he's lost to a guy and a team that had no one thought were going back to the Super Bowl. Let's just keep it a buck.
Mm.
Well, yeah, Barry, you're right. I said, yeah, I'm right. No one thought. And again, lazy, stupid coaching will get you in
Mm.
trouble when you have somebody across from you who's smart, hardworking, and diligent. Andy Reid, and
Yeah.
knows how to get his players to play for him and do. Because you got to say to yourself, man, they didn't even have Tyreek Hill. How in the world did they pull this off? You know what I mean?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
basically, it's not a very difficult defensive scheme. Where's the ball going to? Kelsey, how
Mm-hmm.
how much percentage? How much percentage of the game? Probably 70%, and they still couldn't figure out how to stop him. And I don't
Nope.
even mean stop him cold. I mean, can we just take 30% of what he does away? Not 50, not 70, not 100, just 30%. Since we know it's going there. That's why I
Yeah.
say people are like, oh, you're too harsh. And I said, no, that's lazy coaching. That's
Yeah.
lazy. Because I'm watching the
Yeah.
DBs and the safeties, and they're playing soft. They're not playing aggressive. But anyway, I digress. I
Yeah.
digress. Let me throw it back to you, my friend, as we move the needle. We're moving the needle.
Okay. Well, if you thought there was a coaching carousel in the NFL, the Bucks have a revolving door because they got rid of Budenholzer last year because he lost to the Heat. Okay, so they got rid of him.
So we
So then they hire Adrian Griffin, you know, and 43 games into this season, they give him the axe, and he had a 30-13 record. So okay, so then they make Joe Prunty the assistant. They made him the interim, and that lasted all of 20 minutes because then they decided, well, we're gonna hire Doc Rivers. So they announced Saturday that Doc Rivers was the coach, you know, and the GM this is what gets me. He comes out of his mouth and says, "Well, the players didn't have any input in our decision." Yeah, right. The players have all the input because the inmates run the asylum. It's always been that way in the NBA, and they're the ones.
I don't like that language. I don't like that language. But go ahead.
Well, this is my take on it anyway.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, I respect that, but I just don't like that language. Okay, I'm gonna come back.
um, and so there was one rumor going around that um, Giannis's brother, they wanted to cut him, and that's why uh, Griffin got the axe. But the official reason was that they had dropped to 22nd in the defensive rating. That's why they got rid of the coach. But
You
that
let me know when you're ready.
go
You
ahead,
let me
go
know when
ahead.
you're ready. That's all a bunch of malarkey, and what's gonna seal the deal? And this is what's really sad, and I really feel bad for Dane with that kind of front office shenanigans.
Mm,
They may never make it back if they don't
mm,
get this right. They may never
yeah.
make it back because there's clearly nobody driving this ship, no one making an intelligent decision.
Mm,
And if you want to make a change, I mean, think about it. We're up. We're not down. We're up. And then,
mm,
I love Gilbert Arenas, Agent Zero. He keeps it a buck. And the
mm-hmm,
reality is, Doc Rivers' history, and I like Doc, but when you really look at his numbers
mm-mm,
for the level of talent he's had,
mm-hmm,
they don't
mm-hmm.
go far. He's
No?
only been to the show few times and only won it even fewer. So as Gilbert says, uh, that ain't gonna end well. And it ain't gonna end well. And it's not gonna end well. It's just as simple
No?
as that. Doc is not that guy that's gonna get you over the hump. And you start to think about it, and it was just like, think about it, the talent that he had, and they only won
Yeah,
one ring.
yeah.
And it's like,
And how many
wow, that is
3-1 leads has he
glaring.
blown?
That's what Gilbert is saying.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot, and that's going to come back on, well, who's making these half decisions and not thinking things clearly, and why did we get rid of, and
Yeah.
maybe that's why the original owners before these owners decided to sell, because he had a feeling that the people that I would have to what I'd have to go through to rebuild to make it back is not here. So it'd be best to sell now. And I think
Yeah.
this really spells why he sold. There's just no one. The leadership is just, they don't
Mm,
have a clue. They really don't
yeah.
have a clue. And some people,
Yeah.
sometimes ownership gets fooled. Just because you write the checks doesn't mean you understand how this thing really works, and how
Yeah.
personalities work, and how to get players to play work. Like, I'm listening to this whole thing about the 65 game rule,
Yeah.
and I've heard both sides. I've heard, players, who are hurt in injury management. Okay.
Mm,
And I've heard, well, other players watch this happening, and so they figured they're going to take time off as well. I hear
mm,
that. And then I've heard, well, listen, people writing checks, bro. Your stars are not playing. That's affecting ticket sales. I said, that's
mm-hmm,
true. This is a business. This ain't high school. This ain't college. As Parcells used to say, you ain't on scholarship. You ain't
mm-mm.
on scholarship. And so, I've heard people like the player from Indiana say, it's a rule that really benefits owners and so forth. But, those rules are made um, because it's a business. It's a business. And I need the product on the floor a
Yeah.
certain amount of days. Now, if you need me to buy a couple more jacuzzis, more massages, more whatever, you do whatever you need to do. Because see, this is what is not talked about. And my favorite part to talk about is the money. is that I'm paying you enough money that whatever you need to get on the floor, I need that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I need that. Especially when you got a guy who's 36 approaching 40 who's running who's doing what he's doing at almost 40
Mhm.
and you're complaining about playing 65 games at what you're making.
Mhm.
I that's where for me it's a challenge. You know what I mean? It's a challenge. And um you agree to those terms when you sign that player's contract, and you also sign, and it's like, oh, he's going to lose $40 million if he doesn't play 17 more games. I think you may need to figure out how to play 17 more games.
Yeah.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
If you want the
Yeah.
40 mil, and I'm always for the player getting everything he can possibly get, because at any time it can end.
Right.
Um, but at the same time, it's important for you to understand that you are in a business, and the business has to go on, and you're part of the business, and I need you to hold up your end. This is not
Yeah.
charity. I'm and let me be quiet. I'm just a little confused sometimes because I hear things and I see things by players, and I'm like, do you think this is charity? Do you think this money you're being paid is like a gift?
Hmm.
No, no, it's not. It's pay for play. It's just the way it is. Do you not see the Hall of Famers? And they could all probably tell you 9 out of 10 times they were pushed out before they were ready to go out.
Mhm.
So where is the disconnect? Anyway, yeah, yeah.
Well,
One last
I'm
point. Go ahead.
well, I was going to piggyback on that because Embiid he's in danger now of not even being eligible for the MVP. Now, he just dropped 70 points on the Spurs last week, and he
Mm-hmm.
did that in less than 37 minutes. Okay.
Mm,
He was
mercy.
averaging, before he got hurt, he was averaging 38 points per 36 minutes. That's better than what Wilt did. And,
Careful
you
now.
know,
Careful now.
well, so, but he's hurt now. He's got something with his knee, and
Yeah, somebody landed on his knee.
and they're trying to figure out what's the best way to go about treating it, right now. So, but it's putting his MVP status in jeopardy because of this 65
Mm-hmm.
game, uh, minimum league rule. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll just have to see how that plays out. You know.
Well, I'll tell you. You want me to tell you how it's gonna play out?
Mm. Go
You want
ahead.
me to tell you?
Mm-hmm.
No, if you don't want me to tell you, I ain't gonna tell you.
No, come on, tell me.
All right. They're gonna figure out a way to get Joel on the floor to either meet them. Either they're gonna do two things. It's real simple. Either they're gonna float the rule, right? Because you
Mm.
can't have them turn out a 70-point game. Ain't no one else close to that, right? And jeopardize the shine of the MVP, right? You're not gonna allow that. Plus, you don't know what's gonna happen in the playoffs. You don't know if they'll go on another run. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah.
And so it's again, I keep trying to tell people it's about the money,
Mm.
right? So in conclusion, it's as simple as that. Now
Mm.
I don't care. They'll figure it out. It could look as silly as him walking on the court, walking off the court. It
Mm-hmm.
can be him showing up at a certain point in each quarter. They'll figure it out. You'll see.
Yeah.
But they're not going to jeopardize the MVP. They're not going to allow Joel. Let me fix that. They're not going to allow Joel to jeopardize the MVP. Oh no. Oh
Mm.
no. Oh no.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
And on that note, not to be outdone, but Luka scored 73 points after that against the Hawks. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Look. That Luke has been sitting on that. Luka. Luka is an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me? And this soft, no, I ain't gonna say that because I don't want to make Luka. He's an assassin. I've watched Luka and I'm like, this dude is like. He reminds me of Larry Bird. Larry Bird was like one of the only players I actually watched that if you look at a circle, Larry scored on every part of that circle. That's why
Mm-hmm.
he was who he was. Like
Mm-hmm.
you just the closest I've seen is probably Kyrie. Like I've yet to see somebody block Kyrie's shot,
Mm.
and he goes to the cup, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter who's there. That ball finds a way to get around the rim in the
Yeah.
hole, and it's just
Yeah.
amazing to watch. And the only person that big man I've seen do that is Bird. Like
Mm.
he might as well just he gets to a certain place, just count it and head down the court because you ain't
Yeah.
blocking it. And
Nope.
if you do happen to block it, or he happens to miss, he's either following it up, making it back, putting it back in, or he's passing it as an assist, and they're scoring. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not, Larry's
And he's
another one.
and he's
He's a
talking smack the whole time.
oh, he talking about your mama. He's talking about her bad biscuits. He's talking about her dry collard greens. Oh, he talking about her sweet tea ain't sweet. Oh, he
Yeah.
talking all of that. Oh man.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man. He talking about your auntie who's too fat, who couldn't fit in the car to get to the game. Oh, he's talking about it all. He's talking about it all. But my
Yes, he
friend,
did.
woo, it's been a good one tonight. It's been lots of fun, excited,
Yeah.
lots going on. And my homeboys is headed back to the Super Bowl. Everybody asking me, Barry, who you going for? I said, I got my Kansas City hat, my Kansas City sweatshirt, my Kansas City socks, and my Kansas
Mm-hmm.
City warm up. I think I'm going for Kansas City. Not the
Me too.
Niners. Never the Niners.
Can't. No, can't. Can't
It's
do
not. It's not.
Can't
It's not
do
in
it.
my blood. It's not in my
Yeah.
blood. No, no. So it's exciting times. It's exciting times. We're going to see how this all wraps up, my good friend. But it's glad to be back in the saddle and Smarterfan family. Stuff is cooking. I know you can smell them biscuits cooking. I know you can smell it. Ooh, we got some stuff cooking for you.
Yeah.
All right, my friend, we're done. Good to see you. You're looking healthy, looking well. Keep drinking your ginger tea, and we'll keep it coming at them.
All right. See you.
All right, fam. Good night.
Smarterfan.